Hey guys, Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training. I feel like I'm putting a lot of these yak sessions out, and I'd rather have dogs that are showing, getting worked and all that kind of thing, but I can't avoid it, you know. So a few of you know that I am relocating. I am moving my location, and because of that I have to free up kennel space, and I have to move my location and kind of regroup and then come at this whole, my trade, a whole nother thing. Things go like this, ebb and flows in life. Example, if I have a location and I'm down towards Norco, that I used to live in Norco, I was able to use the river. I used to be able to go out and use all my dogs in a pack and run my dogs in a pack. My training slant and my whole thing went around the resources I had available. Lake Elsinore, I had malls, I had all kinds of stuff that I had, and I built up using the resources I had around me there. Now I'm up in Phelan, a lot colder, a lot different, and so I'm hampered because I have to drive. It takes me about 30-45 minutes to get to the closest location to give my dogs the environmental that I want. So that affects my training. So in a nutshell, this transition, going to a new location, is going to causing me to have to regroup and get to a position where I can now come at it again, in which I will, you know. So but back to the people that are calling me. I have a lot of phone calls coming in. I have somebody that's doing my marketing online. He's got a lot of savvy in that regards, pictures, things like that. So I'm getting calls from the general public, people that don't even watch my videos, all over the place. This goes out to you folks, okay? If those of you that know me and already watch my videos know that I have a very keen dogs. KNVP lineage are very working dog orientated, and they have high energy outflows, and there's a really high degree of tenacity that goes toward the application of police and civilian protection to a higher degree. And that's genetics, right? That's a genetic stamp you keep hearing me talk about. I have these dogs because I have an ability to work with that caliber of a dog. But not everybody does. The general public, a lot of you folks that are coming at me, see these beautiful Dutch Shepherds, and you think your perceptions, your conceived notions based on the videos that we put out, watching TV, seeing Malinois in movies that lately we've had some movies that come out. All of a sudden the public goes crazy and they want one of these dogs. And it's because of what happens when we're putting out these videos and the stuff that's coming out on TV, okay? You have a slanted, conceived perception based on this little screen that you're watching, okay? And you have no real understanding of really what this means to get a dog like this. And in the end, unfortunately, the only one that suffers is the dog in the end, because most people that get them have lifestyles and they have things that they're getting into, and they have no real perception of what they're getting themselves into, okay? They just know they want something, right? And that's our throwaway society. Human nature, oh, look at how beautiful that dog is. Oh, look at him. And they have, again, a skewed concept and perception of, because of what you're getting fed to you through all the stuff that we put out as trainers, and the things that you see in YouTube videos and all this stuff, and TV, right? So what I'm trying to get at here, guys, is that I do not just sell to anybody. I qualify my buyers. If you come at me, I right away start asking you a bunch of questions. I want to know what your background is and what your ability to handle a dog like this is. If you don't have that, I'm going to direct you towards where you can learn and where you can grow. And I'm going to suggest to you first to go to a club, get together with PSA club, a ring sport club, Schutzen, whatever it may be. Sit on the bench, talk to these people, see their dogs, get a better conception of what it's going to really take to have the lifestyle, and that's what it is. It's a lifestyle, to handle this animal and handle what you think you want, okay? And your perceived conception of what you think these dogs are, okay? And if you don't have the knowledge, I'm going to direct you right towards that. I'm going to say, back up, learn, grow, go sit on a bench, talk to these people, learn and understand what you're getting yourself into, because these dogs are the ones that ends up suffering. Your ignorance, and again, back to that word, I just did a video on purely positive trainers and balanced trainers like me, and these words come up again and again. We are fighting society as a whole because most people in society don't have a clue what they're getting themselves into when they have a dog like this, okay? I want you to buy my dogs. I want you to be able to be qualified to have one of my dogs, but I will not sell a dog to somebody that I right away asking all these questions and knowing what I've been doing this for a lot of years, guys. Don't try to hide from me, because I'll know it. You know what I mean? I'll be able to see it, and I'll actually put you through the test to find out that you are qualified to handle a dog like this, okay? Because to me, in my mind, what I am into is a higher echelon of caliber of dog based on their genetic makeup and their genetic stamp that I get into as a personal thing. It's my love. It's what I do. It's what I'm qualified to do. It's what makes me, it gives me the passion, guys. These dogs are even a challenge for me, okay? And it's because I understand what I'm doing. I'm willing to take that on, and I breed these dogs, and I'm looking for people to buy my dogs that are qualified buyers, okay? That can handle this dog, because I do not want to sell the general public a dog that doesn't have a clue, because I need money in my pocket because of whatever, and I sell you a dog and that dog ends up becoming a problem for you or ends up biting somebody in your family. One guy just called me as a truck driver, and he seemed like a nice guy, and I came on pretty strong. I felt bad about that, but it kind of goes out to him. I want him and the likes of him to understand that I will not sell my dog to somebody that's going to end up within a year or so throwing that dog into the pound because they really don't have the mental aspect of understanding what they're getting themselves into. Okay, and when you have one of these dogs, they're one of the greatest dogs in the world. Malinois, Dutchies, I love them, and they're great. But they have to have a qualified person behind them. It's like getting into a friggin' the race cars that they go around the track, and those guys, if you don't know what you're doing with that kind of horsepower behind you, you're going to put that damn thing into the wall and you're going to wreck the car. Okay? You see it all the time. Kid goes down and dad buys him a really nice sports car, and oh God, beautiful car, and the kid's an idiot and he goes out and wrecks the car within 2 or 3 days. Okay, think about that. The kid is outmatched. He's got something that's way more power than he can handle, and he doesn't have the mental mind state to be able to handle that car, and he puts it into the wall, or he totals it, or he kills himself. You know what I mean? So that's the same thing you're getting into with these dogs. These dogs are not the general public. They're not a couch potato. They're not a pet. They're a working dog. And if you're going to put that energy into it, learn, grow, get into that animal, that's admirable, and that's the type of buyer I want to get one of my dogs. I did a video on Buddy the other day, and you saw Buddy working. That dog is a lot of dog. I can't just sell him to the general Joe Schmo coming off the street, because if I do, it's going to be mismatched, and the only one that suffers in the end is the dog or your family. The dog ends up nailing a kid or gets in a fight at the home front because you can't handle that dynamic, a pack dynamic. Talking to a trainer the other day that I know real well, and he asked me, I was talking about Joker. Joker's for sale too. So is Buddy. I'm going to liquidate everything. I'm going to back up and I'm going to come out again. It'll take me a couple years to do it. Okay. And I love my dogs. Don't get me wrong. But if I can get them the right home and they're filling the purpose that I've trained them to be for, and that's what I do. I'm into purpose, right? If that dog fulfills that purpose and is an executive protection dog, handling the home and the family, and I've matched him with the right owner, I make a little money. I put it in my pocket and I feel good because I know that dog's out there doing their job. That's what I do. I produce product. I want that dog to be placed in a place that dog is fulfilling a purpose, right? Executive protection, personal protection, something that person is really going to be putting the dog to work in that way. Maury, I sold Maury a few years ago. Maury went to an executive protection home. The guy is a land developer. He loves that dog. The dog's with the family, the kid, the wife, 2 kids in the family. That dog, they love the hell out of that dog. But I give you a big warning. Don't go into their yard. Don't go into that house, or don't do something stupid, because that dog will tear you up. Okay? But he's great with them. That's what we do. We develop a dog that's got that stability in the animal. But he takes somebody that knows how to drive that car. Okay? And that's what I do. If you buy a dog from me and you live nearby me and I can give you the service, I'm going to make sure I educate you. I teach you. I make sure I customize that dog for your family situation. Okay? Or whatever it may be. Executive protection that goes to and from the office, and you've got to, that's what I sell to. Okay? That's what my main goal. That's what I produce. That's what I build. I build that house to fulfill that need in the market, okay? And I'm good at it, all right? So keep it in mind. You guys, if you're interested in these dogs, I'm more than happy to help you out. Like I told this guy, you're more than welcome to set up an appointment with you. I'll give you a demo. I'll show you what, and I'm going to make sure the realization comes to his mind. I want to make sure that he gets educated, because without that, you're out there, and there is a lot of people out there that sell any dog to anybody, right? They won't say, no, not a problem. They want the money, right? They'll sell a dog. I get a good story for you. There was a few years ago, probably 10 years ago, maybe even more now, that there was a trainer that was in LA area, and they set up in Hollywood, and they set themselves up a facility that they were doing this high marketing standard, marble floors, pictures on the wall with all the stars with the sign. If you go down to Hollywood, that's what you see. That's kind of the marketing that people do. Because if you associate yourself with somebody in that red, birds of a feather flock together, and you start to build a market that's more affluent, right? So they were selling the dogs for $40,000, $50,000, right, to Hollywood. right? So one lady came at him and she wanted the dog. She had a breakup with her husband, a lot of anger and hate and all that. And she told them, I'll pay you what X amount of dollars. She was going to, and they saw dollars and they went ahead and imported the real strong, I think it was a Malinois, whatever breed it was. A real strong, might have been a German Shepherd, whatever. But with these dogs, when they're that way, they're qualified to tear somebody up. So she got the dog, and within a couple weeks of having the dog tore her up. Okay, that was their failure because they got a dog that was too much dog for her, and they didn't do the job to educate, but they gave her what she wanted. And she sued them, she won in court, and it's kind of a precedent-setting case in the LA Basin that a lot of dog trainers backed off because this sort of thing happens if you're not smart enough to stop and make sure you qualify your buyer, right? And make sure that dog's a good match, because the only one that's going to suffer in the end if it's not a good match is the dog and the person that buys that dog, okay? Not the guy that's selling them, not me. Okay, well, actually, it will come back on me. It could come back on me in a lawsuit, too. You know, we all risk that. So we really care about making sure we match up the dog flesh with the owner and the right buyer, right? If we don't do this, the only one that's going to suffer is the animal, the owner, and me. We're all going to suffer, right? If I don't take my time and I don't put a break, if I don't put a curb on this, and that's why I'm doing this video, and get you guys to stop and think, okay? And I've done this a lot of times where I've said, you know, what's your knowledge, and I've questioned the customer, and I find out, and I right away direct them, go to a club, go sit on the bench, start getting educated from the people around you, all right? And learn, grow before you make that ultimate decision to buy a dog of the caliber that I've got, right? You're maybe even overmatched when you do that, you know? So maybe my dogs are not the right dog for you. Take your time. It's a lot of money, and it's a lot of hardship. I mean, if your dog nails your kid and scars their face for life, see what I'm saying? Okay? Stop. Think about what you're doing, all right? So that's about it. And if you want to learn and grow, give me a call. I'm more than happy to help you learn and grow or direct you to where you can. You know, there's trainers all over the place. There's clubs. I'll send you somewhere. You can sit on a bench, watch, learn, grow before you make that ultimate decision. And it's a great thing to have. Don't get me wrong. These dogs are awesome. But you as a driver of that car need to have some skill before you end up getting into that. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. So that's about it. Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training, signing off. Have a good day, guys. And my dogs are for sale right now. I've got almost all my dogs in my kennel going. That's including Joker and Buddy. Those guys, both those dogs are qualified for executive protection. Go a little higher. The price is a little higher. But if you know somebody that's in the market, send them my way. I'm more than happy to help them out. Thank you very much. You have a good day. Bye-bye.